Welcome, miladies of inestimable value. Confidence isn't walking into a room thinking you're better than everyone. It's walking in knowing you don't need to compare yourself to anyone. Here's a fact that'll blow your mind. Studies show that over 85% of people struggle with self-confidence at some point in their lives. Shocking, right? But here's the kicker. Sigma females? They're not part of that statistic. Why? Because they've cracked the code to unshakable confidence. And they didn't need a self-help book or a pep talk to get there. The way Sigma females navigate confidence is like watching someone hack a system you didn't even know existed. They don't announce their presence with loud declarations or exhausting bravado. No, their confidence is subtle, almost sneaky. It creeps up on you until you suddenly realize they've taken over the room without even trying. It's the kind of energy that makes people stop and think, who is she and how does she do it? Stick around, and you'll discover the 10 secret weapons they wield to make confidence look effortless. Tricks so sharp, they might just leave you feeling like you've been living life on training wheels. And hey, if you're not ready to rethink everything you know about confidence, you might want to turn back now. But if you are, buckle up. It's going to be one heck of a ride. Number 1. They know the power of subtle eye contact. Sigma females don't just make eye contact, they weaponize it. It's not accidental, and it's definitely not ordinary. When they lock eyes with someone, it's as if they're speaking an unspoken language, one that demands attention without saying a single word. Their gaze has this way of cutting through the fluff, bypassing surface-level conversations, and going straight to the core of the person standing in front of them. It's not the kind of stare that's overbearing or awkward. It's intentional, calculated, and magnetic. Their ability to use eye contact so effectively comes from an innate understanding of human behavior. They know how uncomfortable most people are with being truly seen, and they lean into that. When a Sigma female looks at someone, it's not just a glance, it's a challenge. It says, I see through the facade, so don't even try. This makes people either deeply intrigued or completely rattled, depending on what they're trying to hide. And that's the beauty of it. They don't even have to say a word to establish control in the room. It's not about intimidation. It's about commanding respect. Their gaze creates an unspoken agreement that they're not here for games or shallow interaction. They're fully present, fully aware, and they expect the same level of authenticity in return. And here's the twist. It's not always intense. Sometimes they use subtle, fleeting glances to keep people guessing, leaving others wondering if they've missed something important. This mastery of eye contact isn't a performance. It's second nature to them. They know how to wield their gaze like a weapon, and they do it so effortlessly that you don't even realize the impact until they've already left you wondering how someone could be so quietly powerful. Number 2, they leverage no as a full sentence. Sigma females have turned the word no into a statement so powerful it might as well be trademarked. They don't feel the need to cushion it with explanations, excuses, or a string of sorries that dilute its impact. When they say no, that's the whole sentence. It's clean, clear, and utterly unapologetic. And the best part, they don't lose sleep over how it might make someone feel. This isn't about being cold or dismissive, it's about valuing their own time and energy. They understand that every unnecessary justification chips away at their boundaries, so they cut out the middleman and stick to the point. Their refusal isn't an invitation to negotiate or debate. It's a statement of self-respect. And here's the kicker. People actually respect them more for it. When most people hear no, they brace for the inevitable follow-up, some long-winded explanation or half-hearted excuse. But when a Sigma female drops her unvarnished no, it's like hitting a wall of quiet confidence. There's no room for argument because she doesn't leave any cracks in her decision. That kind of certainty is rare, and it throws people off, in a good way. By refusing to over-explain, they're also sending a subtle message. Their boundaries are not up for debate. It's a move that makes them untouchable in a world where too many people bend over backward to please. Saying no without guilt isn't just a power move for Sigma females. It's a way of life that reinforces their independence and reminds everyone around them that they answer only to themselves. Number 3. They walk like the ground belongs to them. When a Sigma female walks into a room, she doesn't just enter, she arrives. There's no over-the-top strut or exaggerated sway to her movements. She simply moves with purpose, like someone who knows exactly where they're going and doesn't need anyone's permission to get there. Her walk speaks volumes without uttering a single word, shoulders back, chin up, and an unshakable sense of calm that says, "I belong here, whether you notice me or not." What sets her apart is the absence of arrogance. She's not walking to prove a point or demand attention. She's simply existing in a way that commands it. The quiet confidence in her stride comes from within, and people feel it before they even fully process her presence. It's as if she owns the ground beneath her feet, not because she feels entitled to it, but because she's made peace with herself. She's not trying to take up space. She simply is the space. The way she walks isn't performative, it's intentional. Every step is grounded, deliberate, and smooth, like she's in full control of her energy and doesn't need to rush for anyone. It's this combination of self-assuredness and restraint that draws people in. They can't help but wonder, who is she? And how does she radiate so much without even trying? Her walk tells a story of independence and self-respect. It's not about being noticed. It's about carrying herself in a way that's impossible to ignore. The Sigma female doesn't need applause or validation. The way she moves through the world makes it clear she's already given that to herself. Number 4. They weaponize their flaws. Sigma females have an almost rebellious way of embracing their flaws. While most people scramble to hide their imperfections, they put theirs front and center like a badge of honor. They've figured out something most people never do. Your so-called weaknesses aren't liabilities, they're your rawest, most authentic traits. Instead of apologizing for what others might call shortcomings, they double down on them, flipping the narrative entirely. If they're too blunt, they use it to cut through nonsense. If they're introverted, they leverage it to master observation and read people better than anyone else in the room. If they're a little too intense for some, they use that intensity to fuel their ambition and set themselves apart. Whatever flaw society might label as a defect, they wield it like a finely crafted tool, turning it into an advantage so sharp it leaves people wondering how they didn't see its potential before. This unapologetic ownership does something powerful. It disarms criticism. When you own what others think should make you insecure, you strip away their ability to weaponize it against you. And Sigma females, they've mastered this psychological judo. They know that confidence in your flaws isn't just empowering, it's magnetic. People are drawn to their ability to live so boldly and unapologetically that it makes everyone else question why they've spent so much energy trying to be perfect. It's not about pretending their flaws don't exist. It's about reframing them. What others see as too different, too much, or too unconventional, they see as a rare edge no one else can replicate. And that's why Sigma females don't just accept their flaws, they weaponize them, proving that what makes them imperfect is exactly what makes them unstoppable. Number 5. They speak less but say more. Sigma females have mastered the art of verbal minimalism. They don't fill the air with unnecessary chatter, nor do they feel the need to over-explain their thoughts. Instead, every word they say carries weight, purpose, and intent. It's not just about speaking, it's about making sure what they say matters. When they talk, people stop and listen. It's not because they're loud or dominating the conversation, but because they've cultivated a reputation for only speaking when they have something worthwhile to say. This creates an aura of mystery and authority. Others instinctively know that when a Sigma female opens her mouth, it's worth paying attention. What makes this even more powerful is their ability to cut straight to the point. There's no rambling, no sugarcoating, and no filler. They're precise, often delivering their thoughts with a clarity that makes you wonder why everyone else is complicating things. It's like their words are arrows, sharp, direct, and impossible to ignore. This economy of speech also keeps people intrigued. Sigma females don't overshare or feel the need to explain their entire life story to connect with others. Instead, they leave just enough unsaid, creating an air of intrigue that keeps people coming back for more. Silence isn't uncomfortable for them. It's a tool they use to their advantage. In a world that's constantly shouting to be heard, a Sigma female's quiet confidence in how she communicates stands out. She doesn't need to dominate a room with volume. She dominates it with meaning. And because she speaks less but says so much more, her words stick with people long after she's done talking. That's the kind of influence you can't fake. It's pure, deliberate power. Number 6, they dominate their private sphere. Sigma females understand one profound truth. The foundation of unshakable confidence is built in private, not in public. They dominate their private sphere with the kind of precision and discipline that most people reserve for their professional lives. To them, what happens behind closed doors isn't just personal. It's the secret weapon that fuels everything they project to the world. Their private life is a sanctuary, not a chaos zone. They've mastered the art of creating spaces that energize them, routines that strengthen them, and habits that sharpen their minds. Whether it's perfecting a skill, diving into their passions, or indulging in deliberate self-care, every moment in their private world serves a purpose. They don't waste time scrolling aimlessly or drowning in distractions. Instead, they use that time to refine themselves, ensuring their foundation is rock solid before they step into the spotlight. This private domination also means they're fiercely protective of their energy. Not everyone gets access to their inner world, and they don't apologize for it. They know that confidence comes from feeling secure in who you are, and that security is nurtured in solitude. When they walk out the door, they're not seeking validation because they've already built it for themselves in the quiet hours no one sees. What's fascinating is how this control over their private sphere radiates outward. People sense the quiet power of someone who has their life together, not in a performative, Instagram-worthy way, but in a deeply authentic one. A Sigma female's confidence isn't loud or flashy because it doesn't need to be. It's rooted in the fact that she's already done the work where it matters most, in her own space, on her own terms. That's the kind of strength you can't fake, and it's exactly why she stands out without even trying. Number 7, they are their own competition. Sigma females have no interest in the comparison game. It's a waste of time and energy. They've figured out that the only competition worth having is with the person they were yesterday. This mindset is what gives them their unshakable confidence, because their sense of worth doesn't hinge on how anyone else is doing. They don't care if someone else is ahead, behind, or running an entirely different race. For them, the finish line has always been personal. This self-focused approach makes their growth relentless. They set their own goals, measure their progress, and raise their standards, not because someone else is watching, but because they hold themselves accountable. If they stumble, they're not looking around to see who's noticing. They're figuring out how to come back stronger. And when they win, it's not about showing off. It's about knowing they've earned it. By refusing to compare themselves to others, Sigma females also dodge the emotional roller coaster that comes with envy and insecurity. They don't waste time worrying about who's more successful, more attractive, or more accomplished. Instead, they channel that energy into becoming the best version of themselves. This creates a level of self-assurance that's rare because it's not built on shaky ground. Their confidence is untouchable because it's entirely self-made. No one else's success can diminish it, and no one else's failure can inflate it. This makes them a force to be reckoned with, not because they're trying to outshine anyone, but because they've learned that the brightest light comes from within. When you're your own competition, there's no limit to how far you can go, and for Sigma females, that's the only game worth playing. Number 8, they don't try, they just are. Sigma females have cracked the code on confidence by understanding one vital truth. Trying too hard to appear confident is the fastest way to seem insecure. They don't waste their energy putting on a show, rehearsing how they'll come across, or overthinking every word and move. Instead, they simply exist in their truth. Their confidence is rooted so deeply in their authenticity that it feels effortless, almost second nature. They don't need to try because they are. This is what sets them apart. Confidence, for them, isn't about loud declarations or exaggerated body language. It's in the subtleties, the way they hold themselves, the calm in their tone, the unwavering gaze that says they're fully at peace with who they are. They've let go of the exhausting need to seek approval or mold themselves to fit expectations. And because they're not performing for anyone, their confidence has a raw, magnetic quality that draws people in. It's not that they don't care what others think, they just care more about what they think of themselves. Their energy is focused inward, on staying true to their values and living authentically. This is why their actions feel so deliberate and unforced. Whether they're making a decision, handling a challenge, or just walking into a room, it's all done with a quiet assurance that stems from knowing they're enough. For Sigma females, confidence isn't something you turn on when people are watching. It's woven into how they live every day. They don't need to prove anything to anyone because their self-worth isn't up for debate. And that's what makes their presence so powerful. They remind everyone around them that real confidence isn't loud, flashy, or rehearsed. It's simply being unapologetically yourself. Number 9. They prioritize emotional minimalism. Sigma females have an unmatched ability to keep their emotional energy focused on what truly matters. They don't get caught up in the petty dramas that others seem to live for. While the world may be spinning with noise and nonsense, they've mastered the art of emotional minimalism, cutting out the clutter and refusing to waste their energy on things or people that don't align with their sense of purpose. If it's not productive, positive, or aligned with their goals, it simply doesn't make the cut. This doesn't mean they're emotionless or cold. It means they've learned to protect their emotional bandwidth. They understand that over-investing in drama, gossip, or seeking validation only depletes their power. Instead, they channel their emotions where they count, in relationships that nourish them, in pursuits that challenge them, and in moments that help them grow. This emotional discipline gives them an undeniable sense of inner calm. While others may react impulsively or get caught up in the emotional roller coaster, Sigma females remain grounded and unshaken. Their reactions are measured, not impulsive. They approach every situation with a clarity that comes from not being weighed down by unnecessary emotional baggage. This calmness doesn't just benefit them, it radiates outward. People around them notice the quiet confidence they exude, the way they don't let life's challenges shake them. It's magnetic because most people are trapped in the chaos of overreacting, seeking approval, and stressing over what others think. Sigma females, on the other hand, have mastered emotional minimalism and stay centered in their own strength. It's this serene confidence that leaves others in awe, because they can't help but wonder how she stays so unbothered by everything that trips them up. Number 10. They master the art of controlled silence. Sigma females have a unique mastery over the art of controlled silence. In a world where everyone seems to feel the need to fill every pause with noise, they understand that sometimes silence speaks louder than words ever could. They're not uncomfortable with quiet moments, they embrace them. While others scramble to fill awkward silences with rambling or nervous chatter, Sigma females remain poised and unshaken, letting their stillness speak volumes. This is where their power lies, not in what they say, but in the undeniable presence they exude without uttering a single word. Their silence doesn't make them invisible, it makes them unforgettable. It flips the power dynamic without them even having to lift a finger. People are drawn to their calm, almost unnerving ability to remain composed, which leaves others wondering what's going on beneath the surface. It's not about playing games. It's about knowing that your presence alone is enough to command attention. In that quiet space, Sigma females hold all the cards. They've learned that words can be cheap, but silence, when used correctly, is pure gold. By mastering this skill, Sigma females not only assert their emotional control, but also send a powerful message. They are not desperate for validation, nor are they intimidated by awkwardness. They stand firm, rooted in their own confidence, making their silence a strategic tool that shifts the focus onto them in the most subtle yet impactful way. Silence becomes a magnetic force, drawing people in, making them question, and ultimately, remember. In a world where everyone seems to be screaming for attention, Sigma females stand as a quiet storm of unshakable confidence, masterfully steering their lives with deliberate precision. They don't need to shout to be heard, nor do they seek validation from others to feel worthy. Their power is woven through every choice they make, every word they say, and every space they enter. They've learned that true strength doesn't come from fitting into the world, it comes from shaping their own. Sigma females teach us that confidence isn't an act, it's a lifestyle. It's not about performing or pretending to be something you're not. It's about owning your truth so fully that the world has no choice but to respect it. They've cracked the code on self-reliance, emotional clarity, and personal growth. And in doing so, they've created a force field that no external noise can breach. What's most incredible about them is that they don't need to be celebrated to feel powerful. Their quiet existence is celebration enough. Their confidence isn't loud, but it's unmistakable. They don't demand attention. They attract it effortlessly, not because they seek it, but because they are it. In a world filled with empty noise, the Sigma female stands as a reminder that the most impactful presence is often the one that speaks the least. And that is exactly why, when they do speak, the world listens. If you've been captivated by the raw power and magnetic presence of Sigma females, then you're just scratching the surface. Don't let this be the last time you uncover the extraordinary. Subscribe to the channel now and dive deeper into the world of true confidence, authentic power, and untold wisdom. Hit that subscribe button, and let's keep unraveling the secrets of those who don't just live, they lead. Join the journey, because the best is yet to come, and you won't want to miss a single moment. Thanks for watching, my ladies. See you in the next video. Bye for now, and God bless.